Yo, can you hear me? You listening to
WAW. What a week.
Eta, welcome to another episode of WOW, What a Week. This week, we have another extraordinary episode, speaking to someone I feel we ought to hear from, because we all have stories, we all have sometimes tragedies in our lives that hopefully become lessons to us and to those that we love and those around us. Our guest today is a young man that I met when I first moved to Jersey in 1995. We stayed in the same block of flats. I later found out that, oh, flip, he now DJs. And then he had a venue. He hired me at that venue. The next phone call I got from him was from jail. Why was he in jail? We find out that and more this week on WOW, What a Week.
This is
What a week.
What a Week. Celebrity guest.
Celebrity guest.
Our guest this week is a gentleman I've known since 1995 when I first moved to Johannesburg. I need you to please give a wow welcome to Harold Raputsi, aka DJ Harold. Brother H.
Yeah, man.
Mr. H.
What's up?
Ori, what's up?
Not too bad, Michon.
My man, I first met you, 1995, ne?
Yeah.
At Empire Gardens on Empire Road.
Yes.
Downtown Johannesburg.
True that.
So at that time, what had brought you to Johannesburg?
I'm not the type of guy that stays comfortably with parents.
Yes, sir.
And especially at that age, when we were young and we were new into this love thing, and
Sure.
I had a partner and I needed my space.
Sure.
So home wasn't the place for me.
So where is home?
Home, original home is Botswana.
Okay.
But it happens that originally somehow my grandmother, originally my grandfather is the one who's from Botswana.
Okay.
But my grandmother is the one who is South African.
Okay.
So in South Africa, home was Soweto up until we moved to Kagiso in 1984.
Okay.
Kagiso.
So
yes.
umfana wa Kagiso
Yeah,
grandparents.
ke a o tea kasi, in fact.
Sure. So you moved to Johannesburg at the advent of democracy, pretty much. And I remember you were staying with your girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
Like, how long did your relationship last?
That's the woman I had married. That's the woman I started a family with.
Oh, okay. So you guys got married and started
Yes.
a family. Okay.
So it's just unfortunate that we divorced in 2008, just before the World Cup.
Okay.
Yes, but that's the woman that I've always been in my life since we've met in 1995.
Sure. So
Yes.
what was the dream for DJ Harold at the time? So 95, 96, 97.
My dream was to have a very strong accounting and taxation empire.
Sure.
You know, to grow and take care of small businesses around the townships. And I finally got into that because of it. In my entire life, when we met, I was still working for Anglo Alpha Cement.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. So
No bookkeeping there, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, I was a junior accountant.
Yeah, you're in the accounting
Yes.
department. Yes.
So, but I finally left the corporate and started my own accounting practice.
Sure.
That's when I took care of a lot of small businesses around the West, which is Kagiso, Soweto, and the Vaal. Yes.
So how did DJing then creep into your life?
Hey, my man, I'm a dancer naturally, originally.
Yeah.
I never ever thought that I'd really get into this whole thing.
Sure.
Yes. It started with following Bravini from Razzmatazz
Sure.
to High Point, and finally at Rocky Street, the joint. Then there was Planet Holy Groups.
You know, the funny thing is we lived in the same block of flats.
Yes.
But we had no idea we were both Vinny fans.
Yeah. And it's even worse. We had no idea that we even went to the same varsity.
Absolutely.
But I knew you before I met you, like in Johannesburg.
Sure.
Because of, remember, you were the DJ at our juveniles nightclub. That, I think, if I remember well, it opened at around 12 in the afternoon and closed at 6. You were the DJ there.
Oh, the teen time.
At Gabs.
Yes.
At Gaborone, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When I was doing PESC, I think you were doing your first year as a law student. At
Oh,
the University of Botswana,
yes. Oh, so you were a pre-entry science student.
Yes.
When I was doing law.
Law, yeah.
Can't you were wasting our time.
Yeah, such is life, man.
Yo, it's a small world.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the DJ career starts.
Yes.
And then what happens to the accounting?
Basically, the accounting, I used the accounting to build my music empire. You know, music has always been my first love.
Sure.
And it's unfortunate over the years, say, for example, I think it was in 2009 when I ditched the accounting and the taxation and just concentrated on my music.
Sure.
Yes.
But in your bookkeeping career, you also interacted with the likes of Sis Gwen Ramokhopa, Mama Phumzile Mlambo,
Yes.
etc. So tell us about those relationships.
Yes. In actual fact, it wasn't through the accounting and the taxation. It was through music.
Ah, okay.
I had a friend of mine, may his soul please rest in peace, Cien Msolabi, yeah, he was from Mamelodi.
Okay.
That guy was so politically connected and we were so close. And when he had a responsibility to put up an inauguration of the first ever female mayor in South Africa, which was Gwen Ramokhopa.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Then I was the guy who was supposed to supply with the sound and the entertainment.
Yes.
That's how I got to meet Mayor Gwen Ramokhopa. Then a month later or weeks later, I got a call. I was told that, I think it was Gwen's secretary, I was told that Mayor Phumzile Ncuka, she was the vice president by then, remember, wanted a DJ and they recommended me and she had a wedding to take care of. Apparently, her sister's daughter was getting married, and I was the main man there. Yeah, man. That's how I got to meet them.
And then did you maintain those relationships? Or
I did.
Yes, sir.
No, I did. I definitely did. That's how I got to understand why she was so deeply and heavily involved into this 50-50 and how she got to make her men understand the whole concept, because of this 50-50 thing doesn't or didn't apply, to older people back in the day. And more especially when you are so deeply rooted, when you are so deeply culturally rooted in terms of your belief system. And they are closer, by the way.
Sure.
Yes.
So why is this 50-50 thing for an important point to make?
It is a very, very huge, important point to make, especially given the background of, the type of homes that we are from. You see, and times have really changed, and times have long changed. And that introduction of the 50-50, it is the one that actually made a foundation of what we are actually seeing in terms of acceptance. That very principle of that women are actually equal to us. Yes.
What was the nature of your marriage in that regard? And looking at that, your marriage eventually ended, like you're saying, 2008.
Yes.
What could you have done differently in your marriage?
I was in a very loving relationship. But it's just unfortunate, life happens. And when it comes to women independence, I think somehow, some way, there has to be And that very line has to be drawn by the very women that we love. You know, when you give somebody independence or the will to be who they are,
or the blessing.
yes,
rather the blessing.
yes, the blessing for them to be who they want to be, you know, as compared to what and how our parents or our fathers did it. When it came to our mothers and when it came to their wives. I think it is very, very important for our women to draw the line. You see, knowing that within the independence, within the blessings that we actually giving them,
Sure.
they should always maintain that respect, you know, that is needed at home. And I think that's where my marriage went wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you could do things differently, what would you change?
Yeah, that's a good one. If ever I am to do things differently, I would want to listen all the time. I would want to listen all the time. I think that's where we actually miss the content of why somebody would do things in a particular way, in a way that you personally wouldn't have expected.
Okay.
But for the fact that you don't actually give a hearing, you end up missing the whole point. Yes.
Absolutely. And then how are the kids? How are the kids doing?
The kids are not bad, fresh. They've actually grown into good men.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. So, because I want us to get to that phone call where you called me, or you are in jail.
Yes.
But before we get there was a venue was it Middlelands? Or was it going? Didn't you own a venue somewhere in Soweto?
No, it was in Kagiso. It wasn't in Soweto.
Was it Kagiso?
Yes.
Okay.
The first venue that I owned, in actual fact, it was the second venue that I owned.
Okay.
That I booked in Randfontein, Muhlake.
Oh yes. Two sisters.
Two sisters.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that was my second venue. My first venue was in Kagiso. I had called it The Joint. It's unfortunately, it couldn't operate for long.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what went wrong with the joint?
Some Tsotsi killed my security.
Hebanna.
Just like that. Yeah.
So then what, you had to shut down because of that?
I had to shut down because of family was scared for my life. And it was unfortunate because of somebody's kid lost their life at my business place. So there wasn't any way that I could continue.
So looking at what happened at the joint and then opening Two Sisters,
Yes.
did you change anything in how you are running the second establishment?
Of course, yes. In terms of environment, in terms of awareness that you need proper security in the night. We don't do things like the way they used to be, you know, because of now our music is different and it brings very different levels of energy. Yes.
So as you're opening these venues, what's happening with the bookkeeping business?
In the past, I had always kept the bookkeeping business because
it's steady income.
Yes. The bookkeeping business was the one that actually empowered, you know.
It bankrolled everything
Yes,
else. Yes.
it empowered my music passion. It empowered the dream that I had, you know, to have the musical empire.
What went wrong? How did you end up in jail?
Finally, I had a venue in Kagiso. I had ran away from Kagiso because of the murder that actually happened to my security guy. I changed and went to Muhlake.
Yes.
In the years I came back, it was in 2005 it was in 2004 when I identified that venue. But it took me plus minus about 6 months renovating it because it was a tavern.
Okay.
Now I had a venue in Kagiso. It ran up until 2006. In 2006, 2 days before my birthday party, I had called Vinny Da Vinci. It's unfortunate. A murder happened. A murder occurred at my place. Yes.
A murder happened how? As in, you murdered someone or someone else was murdered by someone else and you took the rap? What exactly happened on that day?
On that particular day, everything was on me. I was actually called whilst I was busy preparing the fridges, loading the fridges with beer. for the next day. It was on a Saturday. The main gig that when Vin was supposed to come, it was a Sunday.
Okay.
Yes. When I was busy preparing, loading up the fridges, I was called by some woman. Up until today, I don't even know who that woman is. We looked for that woman because she was supposed to have been a witness in my case. Up until today, next. She said her friend was being raped at the toilets. I just couldn't believe it. I had to leave everything and attend to the scene. When I got there, I saw a guy that I had first seen the previous day, which was a Friday. That guy was his first ever day at my venue. The guy was pulling this woman out of the toilet into the corridor. The woman's panties were actually like
off,
basically. This woman was busy crying, shouting. When we got there, this guy said, Harold, o busy o tlo batla go buella basadi ba banwa o busy o tlo buella difebe in actual fact tse di nwang ditšhelete tsa rona ko plekeng ya and o ka se tswelle pele mo bophelong ba those were his words.
So basically, why are you trying to defend bitches that are drinking our money?
Basically that's it. And to me, it didn't make sense because of he had appeared as a very decent person. I was only accommodating decent people at my place. Yes.
So then what happened after that?
I took the guy. I forcefully took the guy out of the ladies' toilets and eventually out of my yard. Because of the pub was within the yard, a particular yard. So at the yard, there was a security guy. I told the guy not to ever admit this guy. This guy, when I first saw him the previous day, even that particular day, he was with his brother.
Okay.
Then since I've actually realized his behavior, he had seemed intoxicated. I went around looking for the guy, for his brother, to ask, to plead with him, can he please take him away because of he doesn't look to be sober anymore. He needed to go rest. You see, and it took me a bit of time, but finally, when I got the brother, when I was outside the yard talking to the brother, the deceased was also outside the yard.
Okay.
I had forgotten about him. I was busy talking to the brother about him. I've actually forgotten about his behavior. Fresh ke lahlile side. This guy ke ha lenda mo sefatlhong ka le bottle.
So did he break the bottle on your face?
No.
Or he stabbed you with the bottle?
I think the bottle was broken already because I wouldn't say he had broken the bottle on me. Because of the way Anantlabile ka teng, you damn man. I went berserk.
So he came and then he stabbed you in the face with
whilst I was
broken
busy
bottle.
Concentrating to the brother.
With the brother, yes.
You see, so hell broke loose.
So hell breaking loose looks like what exactly? What exactly happened?
Then I couldn't be seen not to be able to protect myself at my own venue. What about those who are there? Because of they are there to support me. And obviously their safety rests on my hands.
Sure.
You see. So Fresh, before I could do anything, the brother, the guy whom I was busy talking to, he went to their car and took out a knife. He went to their car. They were driving a Beetle, if I still remember. That guy took out not Dipanga.
In jungle.
Jungle, mfethu. Ke dutse ka se go feta wena ba re wena go no tseba lingo ya go kasi.
My man, everyone knows jungle, boss.
Bro.
Give you a Rambo.
I don't even know what made that is. What brand that is. You don't even need to be advertising the Rambo. It's too deadly. One understand. It's unfortunate. I was just. I lost it. I must say.
So what did you do?
I stabbed him. I stabbed him.
So you stabbed the guy with the bottle?
The guy who stabbed me with the bottle, the brother, I saw, whilst I was actually in pain, instead of this guy talking to me or
trying to defuse the thing.
He goes to his car
to get the jungle knife.
When I get my head up, it's the brother. It's the brother who came up with that knife. Then I disarmed the brother, the knife. Then with that very knife, because automatically it clearly means with that knife, he didn't bring the knife to me.
He's not coming in peace.
Definitely sure. One understand. So I had to do something about it. So I went to the guy who actually injured me. It's unfortunate.
With the same knife?
With the very same knife. Yes.
And then what did you do?
I stabbed him. Unfortunately, and I'm very sorry that I did that because I was so emotional.
How many times did you stab him?
I don't know. I don't know. Because of now what is said by the doctors who admitted him at casualty, it is totally different from what is said by the pathologist, the guys who did the
postmortem.
Yes. The doctors are saying 6 stab holes. The pathologists are saying 16 stab holes. So
you stabbed him a lot, though.
Well, I did. I would say so because of I was like in a rage in a way. Yes.
How did the court process go? And do you feel an injustice that you had to go do time?
Well, in a way, but I wouldn't say I didn't do any wrong. I was at the wrong, of course. I was wrong, fresh. But at the end of the day, justice prevailed, but it couldn't have favored me because of it took them 10 years to finalize this case. Why? Why did it take them forever?
Why did it take 10 years?
Come again?
Why did it take 10 years?
Yes, that's the thing. Because of that's where we actually felt the injustice. Because of now the injustice, before you can even be sentenced for the fact that you are actually having such a serious matter in your life, you are already your life is already messed up. So I needed conclusion as soon as possible as a business person.
Sure.
But they took it forever.
Why do you think it took so long to conclude the matter? And did you plead guilty? Was there an issue? Was there back and forth?
I think it took them forever because of now, according to the technicalities, things just didn't make sense because of the guys who actually had admitted the deceased at the hospital. They were talking a different story as compared to the ones who actually examined the body of the deceased. Because of now, the argument was what actually happened in between. Because of if ever you were admitted with 6 stab holes and the guy who actually came to examine you when you finally lost your life, he's talking about 16 or 17 stab holes. So clearly and mentally or logically, we should be asking what happened in between. You see, and I think that's where our argument made the whole thing to take forever.
Because I remember, I'm trying to remember where I was when I get a call, and you're like, Mr. H.
Yeah.
We used to call Harold Mr. H.
Yeah, and you are the one who gave me the name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I've named a lot of DJs, guys.
Yeah.
I've named a lot of DJs. Anyway, so, then you tell me you're in prison, but there's an injustice. You're trying to fight the case from in prison.
Yes.
Tell us about your time in prison.
It wasn't easy.
So how many years were you sentenced to?
13 years. I was only supposed to sit for 6.5.
So you were okay. So you're sentenced to 13 years.
Yes.
Okay.
I was only supposed to sit for 6.5.
So what year was this?
It was 2016.
Okay. Yeah. So 2016, then you went in.
2013.
2013, you went in.
Yes.
Tell us about day one. Oh, in fact, firstly, let's actually go back to the sentencing. How did you feel about that sentence?
That day was very traumatic because of that is the very day I had hoped to be discharged.
Oh, yes.
According to the type of arguments we had posed in court.
So you are happy with how your lawyer represented you?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Amanda Nell and Thomas Nell, they did a very good job. Yes. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, I had to be sentenced. And I still feel, because of at the end of the day, I can never be happy about what actually happened. I can never be happy with somebody losing their life.
Sure.
I had expected to be sentenced maybe for life. You know, had like after losing the arguments, because of I had very good lawyers. But for the fact that I was found guilty, it actually meant that I'd lose the argument.
So why was it a murder charge, though, if it was self-defense? Or if you were responding to being stabbed in the face?
You know, legalities are very complex, you know, and I wouldn't really have, you know, proper answers to why was I charged with murder. But it's just unfortunate. It had to be done maybe in that particular way because of somebody's child was dead, you know. And I'm very, very sorry. If ever there was any different way that I could have done it, believe you me, because of not only his life was taken away, my life was also taken away. It's just through the grace of God that I'm still alive. Many things could have killed me in jail.
I was going to say, tell us about what conversation do you have with your sons before you go in, and your wife?
What?
Conversations did you have with your family before going in?
Those type of conversations, they took, you know, they happened not only at once, you know, it happened over a period of time.
Oh yeah, so that in the event I go in.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, that was the most important part, because of my mom had actually made provision unknowingly. Maybe because of, you know how our parents are.
Sure.
You know, she had always said, you know, as one mushiman, you'll never know horotla guy. You know, so we need to make provision for these kids.
Sure.
And the only best way that we can do it, because of they're still young, is to empower their mother. You see, and that's when she had recommended where we should actually take Noktula, you know, to Wits University, so that to West Tech, sorry, so that, you know, she could get some proper education. And that's where mainly our conversations were around, because of now we needed somebody who needed to take care of family. And fortunately, Noktula by then was already working with Old Mutual. She was ready to take care of everything. You see? Yes.
The day before you went in at home, tell us about that day.
I was with my mother. I was long separated with Noktula. And the only thing she could say, because of she was the person who's always been my pillar, she had always said to me, pray, trust everything, put everything in the hands of God, because I know you, my son, you were never a killer. Instead, you love people, you've improved people's lives, you've helped people. So whatever that happened to you, only God knows. Yes.
How was day one in prison?
You will never get well received in prison, because of the minute you are a target.
Below yellow bone.
Yeah, bro. You can imagine, monadi haina di shebile bona. Babona stock on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So I was very fortunate, because I was very popular. So the minute I walked in, there was somebody who knew me.
Yes.
And fortunately, he's one of the big guys, one of the influencers in jail. So at least I had somebody to take care of me whilst I was still surveying and, you know, learning the environment, because of you need to survive, not through other people, but on your own. But obviously, that took me time. And
how long did it take for you to mentally settle into the reality that this is home for the next 6 years minimum?
It never did. I was in denial, fresh.
Yeah.
Hence, I had seizures. I had seizures. I had seizures like I was in hospital forever. They ended up taking me to JJ Streetom for brain scans. and because of they had thought maybe I had some kind of growth, because I could hardly sleep. That environment is totally different, especially when you had a life out there. You know, walking into prison, you're walking into a different world. And it's traumatic, Fresh. It would take you forever to settle. Me, I wouldn't really say I settled, because I fought from day one up until the last. Hence, I finally realized that I'm actually fighting against the system. So I had so much anger that I had to do something about it. Hence, I finally got involved in helping other inmates to get out of prison.
How did you do that?
Through writing appeals. I'm not even a lawyer. You could have done better, I think. You know.
Yeah, at least I've got 2 years now. You know.
Yeah, man. Now the only experience that I had, it was my case.
Sure.
It's just that I had good lawyers, you know. I had asked a lot of questions, you know, and from that I was able to get a very good insight that I was able to use in helping others.
So how many inmates would you say you assisted get out of prison?
5. 5 guys.
So what do you think you did that changed everything for them?
Come again?
What do you think you did or wrote in those appeals that you feel changed their fortunes and they managed to get out?
I had actually picked up that a lot of our courts are not doing things by the book. It's unfortunate, and that's a reality. Hence, we are having a lot of people charged and sentenced for rape that never happened. You see, so those are the type of things whereby you find that somebody's in jail, is doing time in for a rape that had no DNA, that had no kind of, I can't even remember that particular medical certificate that is actually wanted to show that indeed there was a rape that actually occurred. There wasn't any kind of medical examination whatsoever. And it's many of the people that are actually inside without that. So it doesn't only happen in in rape cases. It also happens in other cases like murder, theft. So you find that there wasn't any proper investigations that were done. So hence, it was easy for me to get even those who were sentenced for life out of jail. Yes.
What would you say the lesson is for you and should be for anyone that hasn't been to prison, looking at your time in prison?
We end up in prison because of different reasons. Hence, you find people by Longhora, they did absolutely nothing. They are there. And for those who are out there, I would say, live your life at your best and respect the next person to avoid finding yourself in wrong places. You know, and nobody, you wouldn't, even clever, even last number, Yalepara, doesn't want to find themselves in prison. Has a pleke e sharp. A lot of people, not everybody gets a life when they are from prison. It is only a few who find themselves to be in prison because of certain different powers and forces that are unforeseen.
A third hand.
Yes, a third hand, one would say. And it's unfortunate because of, in our upbringing, a lot has been hidden from us, and which is supposed to be part and parcel of who we are.
Okay.
Now apparently, and I was actually even told for years before, because of I was fighting, you see. So I was actually told that finally I will end up in jail. And whatever that actually happened to me, it was through Mosebetsi Omadlozi, because of the type of life that I was actually leading I was never told kata ba tsa madlozi. I was never ke gola ke nna mo kana ga go so itse mosebetsi wa any kind wa setso ko tlatleng.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we're just living the city life.
Wow, I understand. So in one way or the other, they had to announce themselves to me. They had to forcefully get into my life. And I was actually told, listen, you are going to end up in jail. As much as when you don't get it, the sooner you identify, the sooner you realize that there is a third force in our lives. We see ourselves as stars, we see ourselves as achievers, not knowing God, who are actually behind us. And the minute you don't recognize their power, they will find a way to take everything from you. And that's exactly what happened to me. What I'm actually trying to say is, I know it is the many of us who never got that type of upbringing because of they would say they want the best for us.
Sure.
But unfortunately, that one element, that one element, fresh, it is very, very important. Hence, I would want to say, I am happy. I am very, very happy to announce that I feel and know that I am a better person after what actually happened to me. Because of now, I know who I am.
Sure. In total, how long were you in for?
Come again?
In total, how long were you inside for?
10 years, 2 months.
Yo?
10 years, 2 months. Imagine. 10 years, 2 months.
But how when you should have served at least six and a half?
That's it. That force. That's regardless of the fact, there is a lot of incompetency within officials in different government institutions.
Sure.
There was a third force. There was that force. You can imagine I was able to help people to get out of prison before their time, to get out of prison realizing that the courts have actually...
They let them down.
Yes. But I couldn't help myself. I couldn't. I went to the High Court, represented myself, given all type of promises. Nothing happened. Up until one particular day, some guy came to me. I can't even remember his name. I can't even get his face. He said to me, Grootman, we can all see you are helping people, but it's unfortunate. How do you how do you go court? How do you I was confused. Whilst I've been helping people and trying to get more information so that I can get my freedom. In what particular way? I had to respect that guy. I couldn't ask him much, but for the particular advice that he actually came through with, I had to take it and move. But at the back of my mind, I needed to get his story.
Sure.
When I finally understood it, I went running.
So what did you do? How have you appeased the ancestors?
I had to consult. Everybody. Go na le doctor, go na le lawyer, go na le sangoma, go na any go na le DJ, go na le artist.
No, jail is a microcosm of general society.
100%.
Yeah.
Then I was told that you needed to start knowing. You needed to start having a relationship.
Sure.
You needed to know how to. You needed to start to know how to talk with them. You needed to know how to phahla.
Sure.
So that u plead lebone. Fresh, I was given a 10 days course. 10 days as anya fitla. In the first day, I saw things changing, miracles. So that's why hence I'm saying today. I recognize and know Badimo, and I would want people to know
Absolutely.
Definitely sure.
Looking back at your 10 years in prison, what would you say was your worst one day that you look back at that you've never forgotten? And your one day in prison that you'll never forget because it was a damn good day?
That's the very day I was sentenced. Because of that particular day, that's the very day I was supposed to have seen the sun. That's the day I was supposed to walk out of prison.
Oh, but because the court case dragged.
Yes, remember, I was sentenced.
Yes.
So according to things the way Nidisa Makate, I had hope and I was sure hore ke a tswa.
Sure.
And definitely sure. A lot of people trusted in me and they trusted in the vision that I had and the understanding of the law that I had. So 100% sure for that particular day.
Sure.
So you can imagine all the courts, life. The next thing we are driven back to jail.
Yeah.
Into the dark.
Yeah.
That was just the worst. The worst because of I was supposed to have gone home.
Sure. The one day you look back at while you were in prison, that was a good day. What day was that? What happened?
Yeah, well, we used to have our deep house sessions.
Also, Nelisha number.
There was a guy that I met there, Wakokasi, even though I see Majida, it's a gatekeeping.
Sure.
So, by the name of Tuso, there's a guy by the name of Tuso that I met.
Sure.
That was the guy I recognized, Kotrongo. So, we had set up, and we used to have very, very beautiful sessions. And there was this particular one day when he had his own sessions and Hotope from bricks.
Yeah.
Bricks was still new. And Tuso had actually made all the arrangements. Sure. And I was supposed to be part and parcel of that. And there were guys from outside with proper sound systems.
Sure.
Solivista is the guy. Solivista.
I know Solivista.
Yes, he's the guy who brought the sound system. Guess what? You can imagine, as a DJ, you are happy to go tell your story.
Sure.
The next thing, that was just one of the worst days.
About gatekeeper.
Well, I understand. You can't imagine not music.
Sure.
And especially this one.
Exactly.
So they made me to feel like I'm a nobody. Yes.
How violent did it get in there for you?
How
violent did it get in prison?
Fresh. Not blind. Not blind because of the best way. You had to ensure that you don't step on anybody's foot. Now I was stabbed in prison.
Where were you stabbed?
It was in Kagiso. It was in Krugersdorp, Berg.
But where on your body were you stabbed?
It was on my face. It was on my face. Somewhere in Mopatling, somewhere. It's just that I'm too handsome. I understand. So that's when I had actually written to the minister. That's when I was actually transferred to Luokop.
Okay.
Yes.
After you were stabbed?
Yes. And I was stabbed by my own homeboys. In actual fact, Basendile, a young man, to come and stab me.
Yeah.
So that's how terrible, that's how horrible things get. The very people who are supposed to protect you or to be with you.
Sure.
Yes. They are your worst enemies.
Sure.
Hence, ultimately, I had to leave Krugersdorp and go to Luokop.
Sure.
Yes.
What's next for DJ Harold? In closing.
I need my life back, man. I need my life back, and my life has always been, living my best life and uplifting other people's lives. I've worked with a lot of businesses, micro small businesses in the townships, and my vision is to see those businesses back. The Shandus and the Chabalalas in Soweto and the Mokalis in Kagiso, the Nobelas in Manseville, they are doing well. But there's a lot of small businesses in Soweto, in Kagiso, in the Val, who have been taken up by we call them a Pakistan.
Sure.
And now, the minute society have actually lost those type of basic businesses, you can imagine it clearly means poverty.
Khwanyiwa.
One understand?
Sure.
So I would wish to make an effort to see black people, our local guys, re-owning those businesses, and me having a hand and helping to uplift them. Because of a lot of families are suffering out there, and people by local they had businesses.
Sure.
One understand? You as a local, how Karawaya will Spaza? Our own black people don't even support you.
Yeah, they don't buy from you.
I also want that mentality to shift. Our own people must realize that charity begins at home. One understand? For me to be somebody, they have to first recognize me.
Absolutely. Exactly.
One understand? So in a way, we are into we are a new generation, and that mentality has to change.
Where do people get a hold of you? Where do we find you on social media or email? Maybe we want some insights from you. Do you still do bookkeeping also?
Yes.
Maybe I've got a small bookkeeping gig I might be able to give you. Where do we find you?
Yes. Should I be giving my number out?
Give us everything, Papa.
Yeah, man. No, I'm still into accounting and taxation. Especially those small businesses, especially those who want to start businesses and register their businesses and do the right thing. We need those taxes because of even our economy is suffering, our government is suffering. Our municipalities are not doing enough money. We need to pay those rates and taxes. My number is 069 756 5390. I'm on Facebook as Lelosa, Harold Lelosa. You'll find me, go Instagram. Lehero, that's my other name. Besides Mr. H, besides DJ Harold.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Sure, man.
So what's next for you?
Gigs, man. Gigs and more gigs. I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to rock the nation.
Yes, sir.
The way I used to.
Yes, sir.
I used to go Rapala, go Ruleng, go Spielman. They told me about you, or you did visit them. Kotlhabani. I've been all over. Kokahiso, Flagstop. You know, I'm ready for you guys.
Sure.
You know, I'm ready to do things differently and even a lot better. Yes.
H.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your painful journey.
Yeah, man.
I'm also happy that you are remorseful about how things happened on that fateful day.
Sure, man.
Because often remorse is the difference between whether a person stands with you or not.
True that.
That if you show remorse, often people are willing to give you a second chance.
Sure, true that.
People are willing to look at you and say, this person is not the sum total of that transgression.
Sure, true.
So remove a chance.
Sure, true.
Because he sees that what he did was wrong and should have happened differently.
True.
And that's why I'm grateful personally that you are remorseful.
Sure.
Because it makes it easier for me self to also be in your corner.
Sure. No, true, Mechomi. Blind. Ultimately, it's Harold who did this.
Sure.
And I know a lot of people never even thought that was true. And it's just unfortunate. It did happen. Lena Nexana could do something like this. And I really wish and pray, you know, but the deceased, they could get healing, the family, the whole family, and those who are around them, Bakre family, even the son of the deceased, because he once approached me, and I told them, I told him, you know what, I am very sorry about what happened, and I've already done my time. Can you please, Melaiti, try to sharp. What should there be anything, a positive, it's within my reach.
Sure.
That you would want me to help you with. I am there for you.
Absolutely.
Yes, man.
H.
Sure.
And enough respect, my dude.
Eitada. Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Harold, aka Mr. H. Please comment, like, subscribe, and let us know what you think of H's story. Maybe you have a similar story you'd like to share. Maybe you've learned from H's story. We'd love to hear from you. We are done for this week. Coming to you from AMP Studios, downtown Johannesburg. WAW is part of the Africa Podcast Network. Email waw@africapodcastnetwork.com. Shout out Pezulu Works for the cinematography. Shout out to Otis the Flow Fraser for all of our imaging, and to our executive producer, Keletso Modisa Kane. Till next week, have a WAW week in spite of yourselves. We're out of here.